Thanks for tuning in. My name is Mary Cornwall, and I'm here with Dr. Alex Griffee. Did I pronounce that right?
Yes, right.
Okay, awesome. I'm really excited to have him here. He is a wealth of knowledge and has his own personal health experiences that led him to really study and look at holistic alternative approaches to getting at root causes of disease and illness in the body. And now he has his own practice helping clients really return to health and wellness and a state of health and vibrancy that we all deserve to have as human beings. So really excited to have you on today, Dr. Alex. Thanks for joining.
Yes, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Do you want to just give a little bit of history about yourself, where you came from, and what got you interested in the field of naturopathic medicine?
Sure, I'd love to. It's a long story though, so I'll try to keep it more short and give you the brief version. And so long story short, I started as a kid for me, and I always kind of just struggled with learning disabilities, food sensitivities, and just health issues, multiple health issues. And we really never knew where it was coming from back then, because I wasn't holistic minded as a kid and my parents weren't either. And, we did the best that we could. And I thank God for my parents and all the support they gave me. Growing up as a kid, they were always there for me. And I was just very blessed with an amazing family. But we can only do, what we know how to do. We can only do as good as we know. And so that led to seeing, of course, a ton of different doctors, looking at all different things. And I really never got anywhere with it. It just led me to being on a bunch of prescription drugs and trying a bunch of different drugs growing up. And of course it was, organ specific. So they would look at the brain, or they would look at the gut, or, just different organ systems, and try to segregate it that way, which come to find out doesn't work. You can't segregate the body. You can't segregate different organ systems, because it all works together. And, we know that naturopathically and holistically, that's what the body is, a system. And if one piece is off, then it's going to affect something else. So we have to look at the body as a whole and the system as a whole, and treat the person as a whole instead of individual organ systems. And I think that's really where functional medicine, naturopathic medicine thrives, is looking at the whole person, mind, body, and spirit. And then really also going in a deeper dive onto the person's history and really spending that time with the person, getting deeper lab results that can show, better info for us to move forward with. And it's really like being a detective, because you have to really dig into the person's lab results, into their lifestyle, their history, their emotional state. So, just over the years of my life, from a kid all the way until now as an adult, I've, struggled a lot. I've lived through it personally, anywhere from, gut problems to food sensitivities to learning disabilities. Was diagnosed with ADD, ADHD, OCD, Tourette syndrome, neurological tics, all that as a kid. And I really struggled in school, because I had to work twice as hard as anybody else just to maintain a C average in school. And so that was very hard, because I struggled mentally, with learning and comprehension and retaining the information and just all that stuff. I mean, we never could really find out why as a kid. We just managed the best that we could. And so as I grew up through the years, we just managed it. And, it would go from constipation, diarrhea, food sensitivities, horrible gut pain, at its worst. It felt like stabbing pains in my gut at its worst. And so the older I got, the I guess more independent I got, I was really saying, I don't want to live this way the rest of my life. And I was looking around because I've always been very observant. And I'm like, okay, not everybody is struggling with these issues. So there has to be a better way. It means I don't have to live this way. So I went on a mission to find the truth because I knew there had to be a better way. And as a kid, I really kind of developed a stronger perseverance, and a drive to always finish and, just do my best. And so I really started out on a journey of just self-exploration and self-learning and researching. And of course, I'm a very faith-based person. And so God and church and my faith and prayer and seeking was huge in all of this as well. And was really just asking for God to show me, the answers, because I knew he knew what it was. And I knew there was a purpose for me and that there was answers for me. So I went out on a mission to look and found naturopathy. I found functional medicine. I found chiropractic care, massage therapy, homeopathy, just clean eating, modifying your diet, what you're eating. And so started integrating all of these together and really started seeing results. And one thing leads to another, and I'm feeling better. I'm, living better. I'm not having issues like I did. And, just like, wow, this really works. And so, of course, that really lit a passion and a fire inside of me to pursue it further. And so I did that and was like, wow, I really want to do this as a living, and I want to help other people because I've always been a person that likes to help people and have a servant's heart. And I just feel like that's my gift, is helping others. And so I looked at naturopathy and then naturopathic medicine and then going to school for it. And it's been 10 years since I really started this journey. And it's just amazing looking back of how far I've come and all what I've learned, all the information I've learned, from formal education in school to personal education to experience to working with other clients. And so it's just been amazing. I've reversed, I would say, 99 to 100% of my issues. And I may have a flare up every once in a while, but really it's nothing compared to what it used to be. And I've just been able to gain so much experience and knowledge along the way that has not only helped me tremendously, but also it's given me firsthand experience to help others tremendously, because I can relate to them of what they're going through. And so it's just really huge. It means a lot to me. And I'm just so thankful looking back that I've been given these gifts now.
Wow. Thank you so much for sharing. That's incredible that you
You're-
went. So would you say from like age 5, 6, you always struggled with health issues and you weren't?
Yeah, as far as back as I can remember, I would say, yeah. And, I think my earliest memory was, childhood. So I would definitely say from then it was just a matter of, I think it was over toxicity. I'm sure that vaccines had a role to play in it, because I was fully vaccinated. And I know that based on people's genetic makeups, some people can't detox as good as others. And so when you're filling the body with toxins, then you can't detox them, then you have a problem. And so I think that's really where it stemmed from based on my research. And so I think just, over a period of years, as I grew older, my health improved, my body improved. I was able to detox and heal and really give the body what it needs. And then I've learned that once you give the body what it needs, it automatically heals itself. So I think our bodies, our bodies are divinely created and are self-healing. So when we give it what it needs, which is, proper nutrition, proper environment, exercise, good emotional state, everything like that, it all comes together. Exactly. And of course, the body is able to heal itself.
Yep. Our bodies are really, really intelligent, and they have self-healing capacities. You just have to be, and I say this all the time, but you have to have the right environment and the support and the tools to be able to heal. So that involves a good clean air, clean food, clean water, faith, a good support system, like everything, taking a holistic approach to it. Thank you so much for sharing that and your story. And there's so many questions that I could draw from that. What do you think, for some that's listening to this and maybe they are resonating with maybe being really tired and having like ADHD or having the brain fog, or, just going to countless doctors and not actually getting answers? Where would you start? Where do you start with someone as a naturopathic doctor? And what would you tell someone watching this who might be struggling to where can they even begin? Because sometimes it's a little bit overwhelming.
Yeah, definitely. I can understand for sure, because I've been through it myself. But I would say you're welcome to contact me, and I give free discovery calls just to, talk it out with the person and see where the best place is to start with them. And what I usually do is just run some series of tests and labs, anywhere from a genetic test to a blood test, urine test, saliva test, stool test. So I like looking at actual evidence of what's going on with the person's individual biochemistry, because nobody is the same. So
yeah.
And
I think talk a little bit about that. What's the difference? Oh, sorry.
No, you're fine.
There's a little lag there. What's the difference between a functional medicine test and certain tests that you would run versus what you test that your just average practitioner might run?
Yeah, so the difference between maybe your normal MD or somebody that is covered under insurance is they're really restricted on what they can run as far as labs go, because their whole game is what insurance will cover. So of course, insurance won't cover, really in-depth tests that really test everything, and we'll go into a more comprehensive panel. So it's very important to come to a knowledgeable doctor or health coach or practitioner that really knows what to test, what to do, and can get those tests for you, and then really find out, the whole spectrum of things, because knowledge is power. So you get more knowledge from more testing, and then you're able to really see what's going on and then recommend a better, supplement panel or lifestyle recommendations, environment recommendations, and of course, water, food, all the tenets of the environmental protocol. So yeah, it's definitely important to come to somebody who knows what they're doing with labs and can interpret those for you. And, normally they're not covered by insurance, so it's not always cheap, but I would say it's definitely worth it to make that investment.
Yeah. And when you're at a place of sickness, that is worth everything, right? And so, for me, when I was really, really sick, I cared how much it cost, but there was a point where I was I was willing to pay out of pocket things and willing to search for other options that conventional medicine couldn't provide to me at the time. But that being said, I think it's really important also to surround yourself with a team of friends, family members, but also healthcare practitioners who are open-minded. So just because there's an MD or a DO who might not have the same functional medicine training that you have or the same experiences that we have, there are, like I found a fabulous nurse practitioner who was pretty open to running certain labs that my functional medicine doctor was recommending so that I could get some of them covered by insurance. And besides the lab work piece of things, what are some signs and symptoms that someone should look out for if they're experiencing toxicity overload in their body?
Well, I would say digestive problems, gut issues, constipation, diarrhea, a lot of bloating, brain fog, ringing in the ears, not being able to focus or concentrate.
So like everything that you go to the doctor about.
Yeah, I've even seen like vision issues if you have like vision floaters or spots in your vision.
Yeah, the floaters are really, really common, especially with mold illness and Lyme and heavy metal toxicity. I know when I was living in mold and when I'm re-exposed to mold, that's a really big sign for me. Everyone's different in how it affects their body. For me, that's how I know I'm being re-exposed to mold, because it really does affect your neurological and optic nerves too.
Yeah, it's definitely, if you can't detox it, or if you haven't found a way to get rid of it, then it's just, circulating in your body or it's stored in your fat tissues. And so I definitely need to work with somebody who's qualified in, walking you through how to heal your body and detox from that. And then of course, getting out of the environment that caused it in the first place.
Yeah, that's number one, right? Removing yourself. You can't get healthy in a sick environment. You can't.
Exactly. Yeah.
As much as you try, it's like pouring water into a bucket that has, as like you're poking, as you have holes in it, you're still pouring water into it. So what are your top 3 things that you, besides moving out of environment or removing mercury amalgam fillings or things that could be adding to toxic burden, what are your top 3 things that you think of that would help you yourself or a client to like implement right away that can start helping to detox the body?
Well, I think getting really, great nutrition is huge. So you got to work on the nutrition piece. And I know that can be personalized as far as like protein, carbs, fats, things like that, and having a real pro-metabolic lifestyle. But beyond that, I would say really checking out Purium. I've been extremely impressed with Purium products, not only for myself, but what I've seen in others that have chronic illness. And they just really seem to have it, dialed in. And so I'm really impressed with their greens and their supplements and their products that are just super high quality. And so I was very impressed when, I was shared, when Purium was shared with me, and I looked at their products and researched them, and I've tried them myself now and have felt a great difference from them. So I would definitely say, if you want something easy and convenient, then check out Purium and their products, because it's pretty much just done for you. The hard work is done for you. So all you have to do is buy it and take it. So I know today we all want like easy, quick, convenient, and I think that's amazing and huge right there with Purium products. And
I mean, it's healthy fast food, right? I have my shake with me here.
It's healthy fast food, and you get your greens in, and once you put in the right nutrition and your body absorbs it and is able to utilize it, and like we said, when you give your body the right things, then it does what it's made to do, and that's detox and heal. So,
and for people who are watching who aren't familiar with what Purium is, do you want to go into that a little bit more? Like, what exactly are you doing? What is Purium, and what is the nutrition that you're taking?
Yeah, so I'm actually still new to it, to be completely honest. I'm still learning myself, but I know you've had more experience with it and you've seen great results with it as well. But I love that the products are pre-digested. They're super high purity. as the way they're grown and then harvested, manufactured, everything like that.
Grown regenerative soils. That's huge
Yeah,
because
and then the soil is huge.
Right. The soil health directly impacts the quality of the food, which obviously directly impacts our health. And only 1% of foods are grown in regenerative soils.
Yep.
And if our soils are depleted, then our bodies are depleted. And we even things like vitamin D, we know that we're so low in vitamin D. Well, why? Because A, people aren't getting outside enough, but B, we're not getting those levels from the soil that we need. And if our body isn't getting things like magnesium and other things to help absorb the vitamin D, we're not getting that from our foods anymore, like maybe our grandmas used to. But yeah, Purium it's a blend of, well, there's a component system that I've been using the past 7 months, and it's really literally transformed my health and healing from mold toxicity. And I remember on day 3 of starting the 30-day ultimate lifestyle program, I felt so much better. And first time in months that I didn't wake up with nausea and like liver and kidney pain, which is huge.
Yeah.
But it's the superfoods. This shake is all superfruits and grasses and grains, and a lot of them are sprouted, which makes it, like you said, easily to be digested. Everything is solar and wind dehydrated, so when you add water back to it, it becomes a raw living food again. And that with the aminos help to rebuild and repair, and the biomedic helps to really detox and pull out glyphosate and repopulate the gut. And then the fourth part's the cherry juice.
Yeah.
And you said you're just starting on this journey, but you added the products. How are you feeling? Like, what kind of changes have you noticed?
Yeah, well, I mean, I felt a difference from day one, and I know just from years of testing out supplements, I know that if the product is good, I'm going to feel a difference from it. And so that's kind of my gauge on like how a product is, because if I don't feel anything, then I'm like, well, it's either not great or it wasn't meant for me. But when I tested on Purium the first day, it was like, oh yeah, I know, I could feel it, and I had better energy. My bloat went away. I had struggled with some constipation and bloating. That went away. I had more energy, and I just overall felt better. So I knew the products were working, and I knew they were really great, and they were just super good for me because of the way I felt on them. And then actually I went on a little anniversary trip with my wife, and I actually forgot them. And then when I got back home, I was feeling back to the way I used to be. I was bloated and kind of constipated and just didn't feel good at all. And so I was trying to think of what I left and what I did wrong. And so then I remembered, oh yeah, I didn't take my supplements. And so I immediately got back on them when I got home that night. And within like 30 minutes to an hour, I could feel my body really like getting back online, so to speak. And the products really were starting to work again that quick. And then by the time I went to bed that night, I was already feeling back to my normal self again. So I was like, wow, these products are really legit, because, just to come back that quick is amazing. And so I'm very impressed with the product line, the products, the purity of them. And I was doing the core 4 myself. And I think, the biomedic is huge because it pulls out glyphosate. And we know that glyphosate is one of the, worst toxins in our environment. And, most of our country and mostly farmland has been oversprayed with glyphosate because of poor farming practices. And not only does it kill the soil and, take down the nutrition in our soil, but it's actually been so overused that now it evaporates up into the atmosphere, goes up to the clouds, and it's caught in the clouds and in the ionosphere. And in the rain, when it rains back down glyphosate. So now we're totally entrapped
It's
in
just
a
this
glyphosate chemical storm that is just recirculating because, of course, farmers keep using it. And so it's horrible. And glyphosate has been shown to be a huge, problem in destroying your gut bacteria, causing dysbiosis and all kinds of gut issues because we weren't made to ingest those toxins. And so I think it's huge that they have a product that is proven to pull out glyphosate, because I think that's really one of our number one environmental toxins right now in this day and age. And so just to have that product that, you can be pulling out that toxin is huge right now. So that's definitely been a, game changer for me. I've felt a big difference. And then with the Power Shake and the greens, I definitely feel a big difference with those as well. And then the aminos, I know those have been good. I can feel a difference on those as well.
The amino acids they're 8 out of the 9 amino acids that our body needs, but can't make it by itself. So we need it from food. And the aminos, these ones are specifically, I don't know if you know this yet, but they're from organic legumes, white legumes.
Oh, okay.
And so everything is plant-based, and it's super bioavailable by the body. I actually was talking to a friend. Her friend had this major hip fracture and broke part of his hip bone and his leg, and had to have surgery, and he was just popping the aminos like candy. He was not even really counting how many he was taking, just taking as many as he could, and his leg healed so much faster, and he was able to walk way faster than expected. And it really does help accelerate healing, especially at that cellular tissue level.
Yeah, and this goes back to saying give your body what it needs, and of course you're going to heal faster and better. So
yeah, well, I'm glad it's helping you and that you noticed such a big difference in the first couple days. I know it was day 3 for me. Maybe it sounds like day 1 for you.
Yeah, I mean,
I will back up. I know on day 1 I was like, oh, give me more, because I was going to start with just a couple shakes of the Power Shake just to see how I did. And I know that some things can cause a Herxheimer reaction and a detox, so I wanted to go slow. But it was my first day, I had 3 shakes because I was like, oh, give me more. My body was just soaking up. It felt so good.
Yeah, I mean, you listen to your body, it'll tell you, what is good and what's not.
What you need. Yeah. And it's very alkalizing. So if we can alkalize our body and get it into a good state, viruses and bacteria and disease can't live in that state. It's when we start adding in foods like, certain gluten, which is a whole nother thing in itself, but the way that it's processed, and a lot of foods are sprayed with glyphosate, and chips and ice cream and highly processed refined foods, when we're adding that into our body, that's acidic. So we can move more towards alkaline and flushing our body with more fruits and veggies and the core 4 nutrition, we can really start to move the dial and shift things.
Yeah, definitely. It comes down to just really living in balance. And, people that are stuck in chronic illness are out of balance. So really what I've found, most people live an acidic lifestyle, and we're just kind of, live that way. And that's just kind of what you're brought up in, because you're in the standard American diet, which is normally acidic. And so you're living acidic, and what's acidic do? Well, it breaks things down. So if your pH is normally acidic, then you're going to have, breakdown of your body. And I think when the body gets to a certain point, then that's when you start seeing symptoms and pain and chronic illness, because your body's speaking to you. And, but I guess most people, they either haven't found the answer, or they don't want to find the answer, or whatever the situation is. But you definitely need to, live more on the alkaline side. And that way you're regenerating your body and giving your body that fuel. And then when you raise your pH into a more alkaline pH, then you can assimilate your nutrients, and then your body is able to use it, and it's just a whole better, much better lifestyle. So
that is, I'm really glad you mentioned that. So the being able to absorb and assimilate nutrients, because as much as you're taking certain supplements and you're eating certain foods, if your body can't absorb them, what's the point?
yeah.
So really bringing your gut microbiome back into balance so that you can start to do that like once again.
Yeah, definitely. And I learned that in school, and it was just like, it was huge, eye opener to me to learn that information. It was like, oh, well, of course. Yeah. And so from then on, it's like, now you have really something to measure against, and that, well, this is why some things don't work for some people, because their pH is off. So
so alkalize and really start to like a test, don't guess, is what you're saying earlier.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
Know what you're looking at, and then know how to address that. And the nutrients and food as medicine is a huge tool in that. So thanks for sharing. All right, I want to keep this short and sweet. So maybe, do you want to just share one? I have a question for you. If you could go back in time and tell your past self something around your health journey, what would that be?
I would say don't try to do it yourself. Find a qualified doctor, practitioner, coach, somebody that can help you along the way, that has already, learned for themselves or paved the path. And don't feel like you have to do it yourself. And you can really shortcut a lot of time and a lot of frustration, a lot of pain and suffering for yourself, if you will just make that investment to go find somebody that is really, can help you learn from their experience. And I could have taken, years off of my journey if I had found, the right people to work with. And I know everybody is on their own journey, and some people, the right timing, you have to wait for the right timing, of course. So timing's an issue, but I would say definitely start looking for a qualified person that can work with you and help you through that, and then can run labs for you and walk you through that, and start to walk you through out of the valley that you're in.
Yeah, I love that. And it's about peeling back the layers, right? So finding people like yourself and like myself who've been through situations and like health situations, chronic illness, and who have found health to the other side. There's a lot of different paths that you can go, but finding someone that has that experience and expertise like you, and is able to help navigate yourself through that, and provide solutions instead of just throwing random supplements and trying to figure out yourself. It's hard. And for me, at least, and it sounds like for you as well, the environment was a big piece of it too. And so really finding experts, whether that be like a home inspector, a building biologist, a team of like a naturopathic doctor, a health coach, really looking at like a holistic lens of who do I want on my team to start to rebuild my health. So thank you so much for sharing your story. And where can people find you if they have questions? Do you have a website, Instagram, Facebook?
Yeah, so you can find me on Facebook, Alex Griffee on Facebook. I'm also on Instagram at @Griffee. And then I also have a website. It's Alex Griffee ND as a naturopathic doctor.com. So alexgriffeend.com. And you can check out my website, and it tells a little more about what I do. And then I have a form on there that you can fill out to request more information and to work with me if that's something you want to do. Or you can always contact me on Facebook or Instagram too. That's totally fine.
Awesome. Thank you, Alex. And then for the nutrients that we both use with Purium, feel free to reach out to either Alex or myself at biohackingbiotoxins.com. And you or on Instagram or Facebook as well. And we would be more than happy to share information with you on getting that nutrition in your life, specifically the 30-day reset, because it's so incredibly powerful and just nourishing to the body. So thank you so much for your time, and I will talk to you soon.
All right, definitely. Thank you.
Have a beautiful day.
You too.